Hey guys, my name is Kent Savage. I'm an attorney that helps people lower their taxes and also protect their assets. Today I'm going to answer some of the frequently asked questions that I get from clients who are trading on the markets or holding crypto. How do I save on taxes as a trader? The biggest and easiest way for most people who trade is to start a business. The business can be started whether you day trade, swing trade, or if you trade crypto, or even sometimes if you're holding crypto. The reason to do that generally is to start taking deductions. And deductions are ways that we classify different money that you spend. We get to deduct that from the business or subtract it from your profits. And what that allows us to do is just take the things that you do every day, count them as business expenses, and then that lowers your taxes. But you can't do that unless you actually have the business. Because setting up a business can help almost anyone save money on their taxes if they're trading, the IRS actually does put some rules around whether or not you can set up the business, whether or not you're trading enough. This is what people refer to as the trader tax status, so this is something that you might have heard of. The rule of thumb as to whether or not you qualify is to do about 60 trades a month. Okay, so a trade is a buy or a sell, not both. If you do both, that's a round trip. That counts as 2. When you talk to us, we'll see if you qualify for trader tax status. And if you do, then we can set up the business and help you take those deductions and help you save a bunch of money. Now, if you don't qualify, there are other things that we can do to save money. Again, I mentioned some different things with trusts and some different things, even potentially different types of businesses or combinations of those things. Again, we're happy to get into that and give you some options of things that might work for you. When I have a business, what kind of deductions can I take? Now, a lot of my clients say to me, well, hey, I'm a trader. All I do is I sit at home and I trade, so I've got my computer. Maybe I have some education from the trading that I spent money on. Well, what else can I actually deduct? The answer is you can actually deduct a lot. When we classify you as a business, all the different types of deductions become available to you as long as we can tie them in with your business. So for example, mileage. We can tie mileage from when you drive around town as long as we tie it to your business. And I'll give you an example of that in a second. Another one is business meals. A lot of times people, they don't realize that they can take a lot of the meals that they eat. If they're ever eating with somebody else, I show most of my clients, hey, this is how you make this a business meal. Almost every time you go out to eat, we're going to turn that into a business meal, and that can be a deduction. The mileage, your miles driving to the restaurant, driving back, that's going to be business mileage. So not only driving around town, but let's say you're going to go to Hawaii on vacation. We can show you how to basically make your family vacation travel, and you can count that as a deduction for your business. There are certain rules and things surrounding how you travel, and we show you how to do that. We give our clients the documentation that they need so that they can properly take those deductions and again lower their taxes. What other tax benefits besides deductions can we have with businesses? Now, I am focusing a lot on expenses that we can use as deductions, but the truth is there are a lot of other things that we can do as well to help lower taxes. One thing that a lot of people don't know about trading is that you actually don't have to pay payroll taxes on trading. When you do your taxes as a trader with a business, we don't have to include that 15.3% that generally goes to people's Social Security and the Medicare. We don't have to pay that, and we have to reflect that on the tax returns when we do the taxes. That's one of the other benefits of setting up a business for trading and realizing that it's specifically a business for trading is we can avoid those extra taxes. Another advantage that comes from having a business is we can actually play around with your tax rates. Depending on your income, a lot of people who trade have day jobs and then they're trading on the side. A lot of times their day jobs, they make enough money that when they trade, they're getting they're paying upwards of 50% between the state and the federal on the taxes that they're making. In those situations, a lot of times what we do is we'll set up certain types of businesses or combinations of businesses to actually have the tax rate be lower. So not only have your deductions be lower, but have your tax rates be lower as well. One more thing that I'll throw out there that we can do with taxes through companies that's pretty cool is sometimes we actually tie it to a trust. Trusts have different tax rates in different jurisdictions. So sometimes if you're in a state that's really high tax, we'll tie your company to a trust in order to lower your taxes overall. So whenever we work with a client, we kind of look at all of that. We look at the deductions, we look at if there's a structure, whether that's a company or a combination of a trust or a company, to overall lower the tax rate to give them the best tax treatment possible. Where do I set up a company? When you run a business, most states actually have a law that says if you're going to run a business in that state, you have to have the business set up in that state. So a lot of people out there have heard that, oh, you can go to Nevada, or you can go to Delaware, or you can go to Florida or Texas, and you can go to these different states to avoid your own state taxes as long as you set the company up there. That's not exactly true. If you live in a state that has taxes, I live in Utah, Utah has some state tax. If you have a state tax and you set up a company in another state, well, then you actually are supposed to still pay the state tax in Utah, even though the company is set up in another state. If you live in a state that's tax-free, we actually a lot of times can set up the company in a different state because they don't have the same registration requirements. Or if we tie your company to a trust, then we actually can move the company out of the state. But the proper way to do it is actually to tie it to a trust. And sometimes that makes sense and sometimes it doesn't. Again, we're happy to talk to you about it. Just reach out to us and we can tell you what our thoughts on your situation would be. What type of company should I set up? There are a lot of different types of businesses out there. Sole proprietorships, LLCs, partnerships, S Corps, C Corps, and a lot of times my clients will come and ask, well, which type of business is the right one for me? Or I've heard I should set up this type of business. Well, the little secret about setting up businesses is that you should almost always set up an LLC. The reason to set up an LLC is that LLCs have this cool little feature where they can actually choose how they're taxed. So if you set up an LLC, we can actually choose to be taxed as a C Corp. We can choose to be taxed as an S Corp. You can choose to be taxed as a partnership. You can choose to be taxed as a sole proprietorship. You can do all of that with an LLC. So it's really cool to be able to set up an LLC and then make that choice. The reason why we don't actually do corporations for the most part, the actual entity corporation that you would file with the state, is they actually aren't as protective as LLC. So I like to have the protection that an LLC provides in general, while also having the tax advantages of, again, whatever we want to do, a C Corp, an S Corp, and we can make that decision. But generally, we start with the LLC. Can I take the mark-to-market election, and what is it? A lot of people who trade have heard of the mark-to-market election. I'll do another video on mark-to-market specifically because there's a lot of things to say about it, but it can be really cool and really beneficial to people who are trading. This is what mark-to-market is. This is going to sound a little weird. I'm going to use the jargon, but just roll with me. Mark-to-market is where you take capital income and reclassify it as ordinary income, which is just a really fancy way of saying when you make money from trading, if you have any losses from that trading, we can take the entirety of the loss and apply it against any other income that you make from a day job. So if you work as an electrician during the day and then you're trading and you lose some money, well, we can actually take the mark to market and we can take the entirety of your loss and apply it against the income that you made as an electrician. So mark to market can be a really amazing thing to do. What this does is it actually can make it very valuable to set up a business even if you're not profitable on the year. So even if you have losses, if you have another job, sometimes we can take the mark to market and save you a bunch of money just because we set that business up. Are there other things to do to save taxes besides a business? There are always other things that we can do to save on taxes besides using a business. A business is a great way to start, and that's what most clients that I have want to do, but there are a lot of other things that we can do too. Again, I'd mentioned trusts. There's some really cool things that we can do with trusts, or we can do things with charities, and we can do stuff even with international structures where we move money to different places where it has different tax rates. Again, depending on where someone is or how much they trade, a lot of clients will come to me and they'll say, well, hey, I'm not even close to that 600 trades a year. Well, come and talk to us. We might be able to do something that will still allow you to save money even without setting up that business. Maybe we do something with the charity, or maybe we just do something specifically for that year where we place money in a vehicle that will save you on your taxes. What services do you provide? We help set up all different types of businesses for our clients to help them save money on the taxes. We also do the tax work, setting up LLCs, setting up corporations, setting up charities, charitable trusts, retirement accounts, or even international work we'll do for clients. For anyone who's not a client, we actually offer free 30-minute consultations to anybody who wants to call in and see if we can help them out. Or you can just go to our website, kentsavagelaw.com, and sign up for one of those consultations. Usually we can tell you right on the phone what structure we think would work for you and how much money it could potentially save you. We're flat fee. We generally do things for just a straight fee because I don't like it when my clients don't feel like they can't just give us a call or shoot an email because they think they're going to be charged for it. We're not pushy. We're not salesy. So if you call in, we'll tell you if we can help you. We'll tell you how much money you would save, and we'd also tell you right up front how much it would cost to do that. And then you can make that decision if it makes sense. But for most people, whether they're a trader or not, we can generally find a really cool way to save you some money on your taxes.